I tell you I'm going up there day one to see this movie. I am going up there day one to see this movie. I'm boy, I'm so excited. What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Elton638 back in the building. So today we are doing the Wakanda Forever trailer reaction. I know I'm a little bit late. I think it came out like 2 nights ago, or whatever. But the kid's been busy, man. So we're gonna get into this. You guys are gonna watch it with me. Let's get into it because I'm so excited for this, man. I'm a huge fan of Black Panther, and I want to see where they're gonna go with Black Panther and T'Challa and his whole story, being that Chadwick Boseman, the legend, is dead. So guys, check in with me. If you're not already, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notifications every time I post to the channel. And like and comment, man. It helps the channel so much more than you think it does, and it's totally free. Let's get into it. Alright, as you can see, I selected the first one because it's a Marvel's movie. Okay.
No woman, no cry.
Nakia. Oh man.
Hey, little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we have, and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say.
Okay. So it is gonna be Namor.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything?
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be
Okay. I knew somebody had to pick up the suit. I knew somebody had to pick up the suit. Hey, yo. That's so hard, bro. All right. I could look at that breakdown, but I'm not gonna do it.
Welcome back to New
No.
Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is
No. You know, we can breeze through it. How about we breeze through it? That way we're not sitting here forever.
a breakdown of the trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which leaves us with tears and with questions. Let's break down this trailer frame by frame for the visual details you might have missed, translations of every bit of Wakanda text that we see on screen, and just appreciation for the amazing production design and the other deeper layers of meaning that you might have overlooked. Let's get started.
no woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
All right, right off the bat, we're starting off with Nakia.
Hey, little darling.
The trailer opens with No Woman No Cry by Bob Marley and the Wailers, but here covered by Nigerian singer Tems. Bob Marley's lyrics are often misinterpreted as, if you have no woman, there's nothing to make you cry, but that's not the truth. It's not a song for men, it's really a song for women. It means, woman, don't cry. Wailers bassist Aston Barrett in 2012 explained that the song is really about the strength of women and encouragement to be like a lion, with or without a man. And Barrett encouraging women to rise up as lions applies to the women of this movie. Nakia, Shuri, Ramonda, Okoye, Aneka, and Riri Williams, that despite their tears, they can still be strong feline warriors in their own right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to overtalk my man, but yeah, it looks like a woman's figure in the Black Panther suit. And it seems like a smaller woman, so I'm assuming that it's Shuri in the suit. Let's go further, let's see.
Nakia stands on a beach with a Mayan pyramid behind her. These types of pyramids and ruins can be found throughout Mexico along the Yucatan Peninsula, and the Atlanteans in this film are going to be connected to ancient Mayan culture. Namor actor Tenoch Huerta told Vice that he had to learn a language for this movie that was based on ancient Mayan. We'll talk more about how that affects the plot of this movie, but let's move on.
Don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we are, and good friends we've lost.
So here, Ramonda sits upon the Wakandan throne, flanked by the Dora Milaje, and the floor of this room that she shares with the other tribe elders is the exposed red clay floor of Mount Bashenga. This throne itself bears the Wakandan letters that translate to wisdom and loyalty. And notice how Ramonda appears to have a chunk of vibranium ore on her armrest. Maybe the conflict in this movie has to do with vibranium as a natural resource that is being plundered.
I didn't notice that. Did y'all notice that? I didn't notice it.
Both from the Wakandans and from the Atlanteans. To the left, in blue and purple, is Dorothy Steele as the elder of the Merchant tribe. Returning from the 2018 film, Dorothy Steele passed away at age 95 in October 2021 after completing her work for this film. In the streets of Wakanda, citizens dance in white clothes. White is what Wakandans wear when they are in mourning.
Yeah,
Ramonda and Shuri
funerals.
were both wearing white to mourn T'Chaka's death at the beginning of the 2018 film.
A comfort for your loss.
Thank you, Nakia.
Now, Wakanda celebrates the life of T'Challa. Shuri grieves in a procession with her mother, Ramonda, over the Marvel Studios logo that's also in white.
That had to be a hard decision because I think I remember them saying that they weren't going to kill off T'Challa, but they had no other choice because Chadwick is gone, right? So I think this is going to tie into like the multiverse where they're going to pull in another T'Challa. I think so. We'll see.
Led by the Dora Milaje, who, in this very rare occasion, trade out their red uniforms for these white robes. So yes, this film will address Chadwick Boseman's death by showing the death of T'Challa. How the character has died remains unclear. Some have wondered if this film might be set during the blip. Maybe they could be mourning T'Challa's dusting, but that is not possible because Shuri was among the dusted, according to Avengers Endgame. And Shuri is in this movie. Also, according to everyone on cast and crew, this, along with every other Phase 4 title aside from a couple flashbacks, is set definitively after the blip. I just hope that they don't make the actual circumstances of his death a kind of plot point to the movie. Like, this movie does not have to be a conspiratorial mystery to solve how T'Challa died, but rather a story about what people do after in his absence.
Yeah,
Now, the
one like
gate
it's gonna be
that they are
one
headed
episode.
toward has a statue of Bashenga. Bashenga was the first Black Panther and Wakandan king who united the tribes of Wakanda and the one who first consumed the heart-shaped herb to come into communion with Bast. Here you can actually see Bast sitting at Bashenga's feet. But then notice the figure to the right. That is a female figure. Could it be Bashenga's wife, his sister, his daughter, his mother? There is another feline sitting at her feet, which I believe to be Sekhmet. Bast is derived from Bastet, the Egyptian feline goddess, the more peaceful of the pairing that also includes the more aggressive feline deity of Sekhmet. T'Challa actually mentioned both of these in Civil War.
In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands and Bast and Sekhmet. They lead you into the green veldt where you can run forever.
And by green veldt, I think we all assumed that that was the ancestral plane, but this green garden may actually be the green veldt on this side of the plane, the one that leads to the ancestral plane. This appears to be the Royal Cemetery, aka the necropolis of Wakanda. So as the past couple titles of the MCU have started to explore how certain superheroes are avatars of deities, and how those deities are actually represented in the Marvel Universe and Omnipotent City in Thor: Love and Thunder, including someone who we thought was Boss
I
and
haven't
a
seen
white
Thor yet.
furred feline figure that I think might be Sekhmet. This film may now expand this kind of mythology to include both the Black Panther and Bast and an ancestral female companion empowered by Sekhmet. Moving on.
Along the way.
That's a beautiful woman. I can't. Ain't no
In this
denying.
great
Every
future,
woman in here is beautiful.
you can't forget your past.
There's another angle of the throne room showing the Dora Milaje in formation, and now the columns have writing on them. We can see in power, then T'Challa, then our hero, and honor forever. And we know from some set photos that the full transcription of this phrase is rest in power, King T'Challa, our hero, 'twas an honor, Wakanda forever. And notice how each platform represents a different part of Wakanda. We actually saw these platforms and the art behind them in the 2018 film. On the left, the column at the guard's feet reads Golden City, that is the name of the central metropolis metropolis of Wakanda. The next one, King's Guard, that represents the Dora Milaje. Next one, River Tribe, that is the Green Cloak tribe from Warrior Falls, the tribe Nakia comes from. And the fourth one, Mining Tribe, that is the Red Cloak tribe that we saw at Warrior Falls. And behind each of these are tableau symbols in red clay, much like the floor of this throne room. The one on the far left is a large tree with expansive branches and equally expansive roots, likely the panther tree that we see in the ancestral plane, but you may also be reminded of the Asgardian Yggdrasil world's tree. It's just always interesting when the MCU's disparate mythologies parallel each other in little ways like this. Then Ramonda, now in black, stands on the shoreline that we think Nakia is on, and notice some gray hairs are visible under her headpiece. She looks magnificent, but even she cannot hide the toll that her life and losses have taken on her. Moving on.
So dry your tears, I said.
I know we said we're gonna make this quick.
Here we see the birth of Namor. Namor is Marvel's first mutant, publication date-wise, and now that the MCU has finally said the word mutation in the context of Kamala Khan, it's likely that they're gonna call Namor a mutant in this movie as well. Namor is the mutant son born to the Atlantean princess of Fen, and a human captain of the Lemurian Star, which kinda got referenced in Winter Soldier.
Target is a mobile satellite launch platform, the Lemurian Star.
Yeah, Lumerian Star, Lemurian Star, Potato Topato. Now, while DC's Aquaman first appeared in 1941, Namor actually precedes him, joining Captain America in the android form of the Human Torch in 1939. These three were the first real Marvel superheroes. Over the years, Namor has been known as really an anti-hero who seeks vengeance against surface dwellers, and in more recent comics has had a history of bad blood with Wakanda and T'Challa. Now, Atlantis has actually been hinted at a few times in the MCU. In Iron Man 2, the world map that gave us our first sighting of Wakanda in the MCU also included a site in the South Atlantic Ocean. And the Endgame had that one line about the underwater earthquakes.
Get a reading on those tremors?
It was a mild subduction under the African plate.
How are we handling it?
It's an earthquake under the ocean. We handle it by not handling it.
And now we actually get to visit Atlantis and meet these people. It's interesting how this mother gives birth in shallow water. You can see the surface right above her head. All the Atlanteans that we see are blue skinned, as Namor's mother was in the comics, but here his mother may be human, thus the shallow water, just a human who might have fallen in love with an Atlantean father. And that's why Namor isn't blue. Maybe his skin is a reflection of his mutation. Let's move on. In this shot, adult Namor turns from a large orb of light underwater. What is this? I'm wondering if this could be an underwater explosion that Namor's just turning away from in slow motion. Maybe one of those mild subductions that Okoye brushed off, but was actually the surface dwellers mining away at Namor's home. Namor wears a ceremonial Mayan headpiece with a jaguar head, making Namor parallel to the Black Panther, but with the ferocious feline of Central America. A helicopter approaches a human research vessel, but this isn't a purely scientific mission because a guard is holding a freaking machine gun, and this dive is occurring at night. You want to see stuff under the ocean? Why wouldn't you just go during the day? Yeah, this is not a harmless academic trip, my friends. This actually might be the human intervention that aggravates Atlantis and puts Wakanda in an awkward situation, as Wakanda, unlike Atlantis, opened up to the world community, and thus, from the Atlanteans' point of view, might have made themselves culpable every time the humans do something stupid. Moving on. Okay, now a different shot that I don't think is part of that research vessel. Here, we see some armed, uniformed soldiers invading a Wakandan lab, forcing a scientist to open a door, and then holding other scientists at gunpoint beside these bubbling water columns. This could be an off-campus lab where, I don't know, maybe some Navy SEALs were sent to take everything the Wakandans know about Atlantis. Or maybe they're just there to steal their vibranium. Actually, later in the trailer, we do see the Dora Milaje coming to these scientists' aid. The fact that a conflict, though, is happening means that international relations are probably going to shit. Then this insane shot where Shuri stands on the red clay floor with the throne as fire climbs the columns, but the room around this floods. Later shots in the trailer show this room flooding, and that is shocking because, again, this room is atop Mount Bashenga. So for water to reach that high, it must have been an insanely tall tidal wave. And indeed, as we see throughout the trailer, all of Wakanda is going to flood. This movie looks like it's going to closely adapt the 2012 Avengers vs. X-Men comic storyline, in which, and it's kind of crazy, just go with me on this, the Phoenix Force takes 5 hosts, one of them Namor, and tracks down the Avengers to Wakanda, and then uses Namor's amplified powers to flood the entire nation of Wakanda, killing countless innocents. So I assume in this movie, the Atlanteans will flood Wakanda as a kind of final escalation, maybe a measure of last resort that begins with Wakanda siding with humanity over them. But is it going to be Namor who floods Wakanda, or one of the other Atlanteans that he doesn't necessarily agree with the extremity of? Let's play a quick round of Would You Rather. Would you rather be up at 6 a.m. for a flight to Hawaii tomorrow, or meet up with your best friend who you haven't seen forever, who's only in town for one night for a drink tonight? Trick question! You can have a cocktail or two with your college bud and make your flight with time to have breakfast beforehand. Even all you got to do is start your night by drinking a Z-Biotics. So Z-Biotics is a probiotic drink that breaks down acetyl probiotics and actress is fair. All right, transition. Bring this up because Disney Plus series in fall 2023. Looks like Shuri might be doing some recruiting. Get 15% off your order. Shuri in the lab greets Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, a brilliant MIT student and engineer played by Dominique. Especially rock stars and get 15% off your first order. Shuri in the lab greets Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, a brilliant MIT student and engineer played by Dominique Thorne. She's gonna be getting her own Disney Plus series in fall 2023. Looks like Shuri might be doing some recruiting of great minds from Tony Stark's alma mater. Now, Letitia Wright as an actress is just very thin, but notice as she approaches Dominique Thorne, she has definitely put on a bit of mass in her shoulders. I only bring this up because the final shot of this trailer is just gonna force us to pay close attention to all of these actors' physiques. And right as Shuri and Riri slap hands, Tim's repetition of "Everything Gonna Be Alright" transitions seamlessly into Kendrick Lamar's "Alright." Like many Bob Marley songs, Lamar's Alright became a protest anthem. He conceived this track while visiting South Africa's Robben Island to see the cell where Nelson Mandela was in prison, and he wrote these lyrics with an intent to heal. Thereafter, this song became a key song for the BLM movement, both to grieve, but also to fight through that grief and find a way to express joy and to keep one's head up. And I love how both of these songs in this trailer work together to try to comfort us, to try to keep us strong. Let's move on.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone.
Okay, an interesting flashback shows this ranch house on fire, and then there's like an old-timey carriage, some of an old-timey...
I think Queen Mother is protesting against Shuri becoming the new Black Panther, being that she is the next in line behind T'Challa. I think, but we're gonna see.
Tired, dead out front, as a young Namor gazes up at this fire with four blue-skinned Atlanteans. I assume this is part of Namor's origin story, maybe the death of one of his parents, and the fact that this seems to be set so far in the past might mean that they give Namor a similar origin that he had in the comics. He could just be very old, someone who ages very slowly. I like how the Atlanteans wear these breathing masks over their faces, but presumably to circulate water into their mouths, since they might not be able to breathe air. But Namor doesn't have to wear one because he is part human. But then we have this match cut of adult Namor meeting the Atlanteans on a different shore. This, if you look at the structures in the background, is Wakanda. Now, Wakanda seemed to be in the middle of the African continent, but it did border a body of water. And if you look later on in this trailer, on the same beachfront, Namor and the others face fire from a Wakandan aircraft as M'Baku leaps at them from a boat. But interesting how in that shot, the other Atlanteans dive back in the water, but Namor doesn't move. Does he have some kind of divine protection as the avatar of a Mayan god? We return to the mountain kingdom of the Jabari tribe of M'Baku. Notice the snow-covered gorilla statue. This may be where the Wakandans have to flee to after the flooding, since it's higher ground. Ramonda addresses the UN, and after that skirmish with the commandos and the Wakandan scientists, I'm wondering if she's now declaring that Wakanda is actually turning away from the world community, a reversal of her son's address in the 2018 film. And then we get another shot of T'Challa's funeral ceremony, showing his face on a billboard with the Wakandan letters translating to "The Panther King forever lives in us and rests," with an unseen "with the," and the last word is blocked out, but I see an ES, and based on his spacing, I think it's ancestors. So the Panther King forever lives in us and rests with the ancestors. Then there's the yellow building below that's selling Wakandan something. Can't really make it out. Let's move on.
Have I not given everything?
So the emotional speech given by Ramonda that I thought was in the UN is actually being delivered in the Wakandan throne room, perhaps to the Atlantean invaders who are now demanding more from her. And she says, "My entire family is gone." So T'Chaka and T'Challa are gone, but what about Shuri? I would be really surprised if Shuri dies in this movie, but she may not be actually dead. She might just be in the ancestral plane, and Ramonda just thinks she's dead. For Shuri to access the ancestral plane, she would have to find a way to synthetically regrow the heart-shaped herb. The ancestral plane could be where she encounters her father T'Chaka, her brother T'Challa, maybe in the form of a silent panther sitting in the tree. But also, in the ancestral plane, my friends, is likely her cousin Killmonger. I got some more thoughts on that later. We get a clear shot of Namor's 4 Atlantean warriors on a bridge that kind of looks like the same bridge over the Potomac that Everett Ross is walking on. Maybe the Atlanteans also attack an American military site, like the Pentagon, which is right along the Potomac, and that could be what leads that SEAL team to attacking the Wakandan lab for intel on the Atlanteans or the vibranium. And I like that female Atlantean has a necklace with it looks like a barracuda jawbone. Very cool. Then a shot of Riri Williams hammering away in Shuri's lab, popping out a piece of metal in the shape of an Ironheart. Ironheart, suggesting that Riri Williams' Ironheart suit might actually be made of vibranium. Then we see Michaela Cole's character named Aneka, who is a former member of the Dormilaje who in the comics leaves and forms the Midnight Angels. Her armor includes some wings that enable her to fly. Now, Midnight Angels are, among other things, known for a certain mission with Deadpool to kill Dr. Doom after Doom steals all the Wakandan vibranium. I don't know. Victor Von Doom would be an interesting suspect behind that initial land dweller intrusion. Then a shot of Namor looking at this Mayan art. At least I think it's Mayan. This mural depicts the feathered serpent deity known as, forgive my pronunciation, Kukulkan, which is the Mayan equivalent to Quetzalcoatl of Aztec mythology. So again, the way that the Black Panther uses the deity of Bas as his divine power, serving as his avatar, the way Moon Knight served as the avatar to Khonshu, I think the same process is being used by Namor, empowered by a Mayan god. Moving on. So Okoye fights the Atlanteans on that bridge that I mentioned before. Their spear strikes pushing her back toward the water, you should note, until she plants her spear in the concrete. Then some shots of a street chase of the motorcycle in a red car, and then another shot within that red car shows a drone plane crashing into a line of police cars. Then a close-up of Namor with a necklace of pearls, or could those be Kamoyo beads? Probably pearls, but they also kind of look like Kamoyo beads. I just really think the Atlanteans may have their own supply of vibranium, and that is why they were initially targeted. Namor, or some other Atlantean, descends into this throne that is encased in the jawbone of a shark. I love how the top of the jawbone has 2 rows of teeth, because sharks shed their teeth. And then a Wakandan versus Atlantean sea battle. Dozens of Atlanteans surrounding a vessel in a coordinated strike, and then the Dormilaje leap off that deck, tethered to knock them off the side of the vessel. I love this Jack Sparrow shit, and I want to know what kind of ship this is. Why are the Wakandans venturing out of the ocean? I have a theory for why they may be setting their sails in the final section.
When I tell you I'm going up there day one to see this movie. I am going up there day one to see this movie. I'm so excited.
Ooh, so who is our new Black Panther in this black and gold suit? I initially thought Shuri, since, Letitia Wright has put on some muscle. But based on the silhouette, I will say it looks more like Nakia, who is the first character we see in this trailer. But at the end of the day, I could be wrong. I just do think this figure looks a bit more masculine to me. And really, the clue I'm most interested in comes from the line of Kendrick Lamar's All Right that Coogler cuts to black on.
And when I wake up,
Yes, when I wake up. If the reason Ramonda considers Shuri dead is that Shuri is in the ancestral plane, recruiting cousin Killmonger to wake him up to resurrect him, that could be how we get Killmonger back in the suit. Remember, Thor: Love and Thunder's post-credit scene showed Jane Foster and Heimdall in Valhalla, another MCU afterlife alongside the ancestral plane in the Egyptian underworld in Moon Knight. And the reason we saw Jane and Heimdall again, I think, was to indicate the possibility of reincarnation or resurrection in this universe. Remember, Killmonger was buried at sea.
Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from ships, because they knew death was better than bondage.
The Atlanteans could have recovered his body. Remember, Ramonda needed T'Challa's body to resurrect him from the ancestral plane in the 2018 film. Presumably, to resurrect Killmonger, you would need his body. That could be why they're headed out to the ocean. And in this trailer, at the very beginning, there was one shot of Shuri in which she is in this golden, hazy, out-of-focus realm, and she's crying. What is making her cry? Who is she seeing? Who is she reuniting with in this moment? Perhaps she could be in her ancestral underworld, waking up a warrior to help her reclaim her home. Now, so much attention has been paid to who's in the suit that some have overlooked.
Whoa.
She could be in her ancestral underworld,
What you
waking up a
didn't
warrior.
notice is the gold. So, what you didn't notice is the gold necklace thing around her neck. And then all the gold trim in the Black Panther suit. I'm thinking Shuri is going to be Black
to
Panther.
help her reclaim her home. Now, so much attention has been paid to who's in the suit that some have overlooked the context of this moment. Someone out of focus is climbing back to their feet on this beach, framed in this panther's claws. Now, I assume it's Namor. Looks like it's a blur of who wears his chest and his green jammers, golden gauntlets, and chest piece. But if this beach is Wakandan, that would mean this is pre-flood. Because if they need those floodwaters to rise enough to flood the throne room, there wouldn't be a beachfront here. So Killmonger's resurrection and conflict with Namor in this moment might actually be the thing, the moment of escalation that leads Atlantis to retaliate by flooding Wakanda, a risk that Killmonger might consider worth taking. As Doctor Strange learned in Multiverse Madness, resurrecting the dead may seem like a quick fix, but in the grand scheme of things, it's an unholy action to unbury the dead and can curse the living with unintended consequences. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EABoss, follow your Rockstars, and subscribe to your Rockstars for more analysis.
So yeah, that was the trailer and the breakdown, bro. I'm excited for this movie. Let me know what you guys think about the movie. If you're excited for it, put it down in the comments. Also, like I said before, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notifications every single time I post to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. You all have a great day, have a great night, have a great time, and when you get to the movie, scream Wakanda forever. Thank you so much again for watching. Peace out.